Rick Forrest took his first career pole in the FARC Lowe Dollar Series, following up nicely on his second-place finish in last year's Duck Roll Dash. And this comes at a good time, as he only has a few races left in his schedule with Pearson Sweeney Motorsports. Eric Cardona, the 18-year-old from Rayford, North Carolina, qualifies for his first race of the year in a big way by taking third, and points leader Mark Thompson qualified 10th, hoping to bounce back after getting taken out from the lead in last year's Duck Roll Dash. Kenny Brillin, the 1996 winner of the Rockford 200, showed up to this race carrying Arnold Pine Auto Sales on his number 20 machine. Of course, Arnold Pine Auto Sales has graciously sponsored this race for a second year, and Arnold Pine himself has been a longtime friend of the Brillin family. Unfortunately, Kenny Brillin failed to qualify for the feature, but as a consolation, he did take the Trophy Dash victory in a dominant fashion over Marissa Raines. And now we go trackside to bring you all the highlights from the Arnold Pine Auto Sales Classic. The pace car leaves the field in the hands of Rick Forrest, who takes off, leaving Grant Carsons in the dust at the start. And these will be the first laps that Rick Forrest has led in the series since the season opener at San Antonio, where he led the first 10 laps after starting in second. But we would get caution quickly on lap 4 as Michaela Perry-Jones slides into the wall. She gets clipped by Rip Tyler. Archer Helms makes even bigger contact with the 93, and for the second week in a row, Archer Helms will drop out early. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson comes in for a splash of fuel, a strategy call by the 42 team. This will hopefully be his only fuel stop of the race. Lawrence Burr also pits under this caution, but I don't think the smoke coming from the engine is a strategy call. And unfortunately, Lawrence Burr, the dirt track specialist for M&J Racing in the 94, will drop out early. And now Billy Ray Smith-Thompson has problems as he screws over his own strategy by jumping the restart. You can't pass on the inside before the start-finish line at the green. So Smith-Thompson's going to have to come in and do a stop and go. He will drop a lap down for this. This is Kevin Monroe making his return to the FARC Lowe Dollar Series in the Eagle Insurance number 312, a fourth entry for M&J Racing. And yes, M&J, the Chicago-based team, insisted I call it the 312. Monroe retired from full-time driving after finishing 5th in the standings last year, but he's driving like he's never left as he got by Grant Carsons for a 5th on the track. But this won't be the last we see of Kevin Monroe this season. He will run in the second Illinois race at the Chicago Motor Speedway. And right in front of Monroe in 4th place is Alexa Lake, who's off to a fantastic start in the wake of Mastersport Racing, the team she co-owns and drives for, nearly shutting down. But the outpouring of support from the motorsports community has clearly given that team a morale boost. On lap 11, we've got our second caution as Jim Kidd slides into the wall on his own. Aaron Coultier appeared to panic and follow him. Anthony Griffith got caught up as well, and I saw one car smoking going on board with Anthony Griffith in the Team Thunder number 7. I guess he saw those cars start to slide and he made a rookie mistake, slammed on the brakes. A couple more cars go spinning and into the wall. Todd Stater and Noah Dalitz in the 63. And the car blowing up was Eric Cardona in the 910, who drove his car all the way up to 3rd in qualifying, but his day is done early. And it looked like Noah Dalitz and Todd Stater may have slipped in some fluids that he dropped on the track. Zach Webster follows him into the pits, coming to the caution, cut tire on the 41. Rick Forrest leads a majority of the field into the pits for their fuel stops, but Grant Carsons will stay out to take the lead. Chuck Johnson, second in points, moves up to second on the racetrack after qualifying 28th and skipping the pits this time around. But Johnson moving from 28th to second is no fluke, as he was picking up positions under green. Chuck Johnson has usually been good about taking advantage of Mark Thompson faltering on any given weekend, and now he's going for the lead, coming to the caution. The yellow lights are on, and Johnson leads at the line, getting himself 5 valuable bonus points. And Billy Ray Smith-Thompson will get back on the lead lap. He jumped ahead of the leaders on the restart. And the caution is for Mark Thompson going into the wall. Packer Carroll follows him and makes contact with the 98. We were just talking about Mark Thompson and Chuck Johnson's championship rivalry as Thompson runs into trouble for the second week in a row. And unfortunately, Thompson won't be making a huge recovery on the dirt this time. Unlike the last time when he flipped at 70-77 Speedway but still finished 5th, Thompson will spend 5 laps in the pits as the crew does extensive work on the right side of that car. More trouble after the next restart. Timothy Ruiz had gotten into the top 10, was running as high as second, but now he goes into the wall. Joshua Pacer in the 88 follows him, and that's Bovine in the 242, making his FARC Lowe Dollar Series debut, which comes to an end thanks to that big hit with the 212. Chuck Johnson sacrifices the race lead to come in for his fuel stop. In fact, everybody else who is not pitted for fuel yet will come in this time around. Alexa Lake stays out to take the lead, but she is quickly challenged by Carl Hampton in the 99. But Lake manages to grab a little more financial support for Master Sport Racing thanks to the small cash bonus that FARC drivers get for leading a lap. And while Carl Hampton takes the lead, trying to avenge for his fallen teammate, Alexa Lake settles into second in what could be her last Lowe Dollar Series race for some time, as the 26 will have a new funded driver for Provo, but details on that are fuzzy right now. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson is on a tear through the field right now. He's going to take 3 cars in 1 lap. He was 7th last time by, and now he takes 4th from his teammate Rick Forrest. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson, the defending series champion, is looking for his 3rd win of the season. Carrie Fenton is back in the 64 after being replaced by Logan Snyder in the duck roll dash. She currently runs 7th, feeling very much at home on the dirt. Leader Carl Hampton is driven away from the field, but it has still taken 37 laps for Tom Brayton in the 500 for the racing team to go a lap down. This team has been showing up for a few years. They are by no means competitive, but in racing there are certainly plenty of little goals to go for, like staying on the lead lap for as long as possible, so they have to be fairly happy about that. While Carl Hampton leads, Mark Thompson is definitely not recovering from that incident with Packer Carroll. He's stuck in 34th, and he has no speed left in that car. Chuck Johnson is doing everything he can to take advantage of that, driving back through the field after the last round of pit stops, taking 6th from Carrie Fenton at the moment. But Chuck Johnson has certainly been frustrated with how few points he gains whenever Mark Thompson has a problem and he finishes ahead. The new point system for 2018 certainly gives a lot of weight to the very front of the field. But we've got another caution on lap 49 as Aaron Coltier in the 13, running 30th, has more problems. He breaks down and parks on the backstretch. And in the most gut-wrenching moment of the day, Alexa Lake blows up from 4th. Master Sport crew was on their way to a great day in their first race after their massive crisis hit, and the cost of a new engine is certainly not going to help. But as far as we know, they will still make it to Provo with their new mystery driver. Meanwhile, Carl Hampton had built up a lead of nearly 7 seconds over Billy Ray Smith-Thompson before that caution, but he does not crack under the pressure of the restart and jumps out to the lead once again. Dan Lecklighter making it 3 wide for 3rd with Smith-Thompson and the lapped car of Ruslan Bashimov. Zach Webster has recovered nicely after his unscheduled stop earlier in the race, taking a spot from Chuck Johnson. Jim Kidden, the 18, is a lap down, as well as Silas White, the 79. He's made his way back up into 5th, trying to get some momentum going after a dreadful stretch of races. But Chuck Johnson would get by Webster again. However, Johnson now faces a challenge for 5th from Grant Carsons. Carson started on the outside pole, fell back to the lower top 10, but now has found a little more speed in that car and puts himself into the top 5. But nobody could touch the 18-year-old rookie Carl Hampton as he brings the 99 Carl Superstores machine across the line to take his first career FARC Lowe Dollar Series victory. It's safe to say that the men and women of the FARC Lowe Dollar Series were on much better behavior than the last few weeks. All of our incidents were in the early part of the race, and they all came as people spun out in the dirt rather than blatantly wrecking each other. But one side effect of that is that the field was very spread out at the finish, with runner-up Billy Ray Smith-Thompson over 4 seconds behind Carl Hampton, and Daniel Lecklighter was over 8 seconds behind on his way to a second third-place finish in a row. We did have a drag race for 5th between Chuck Johnson and Truman Ellison, with Johnson edging Ellison out for the spot. Zach Webster took his first top 10 since his third-place finish in the previous dirt race at 70.77. Carrie Fenton finished 8th after being out of the car at Delaware. Pole sitter Rick Forrest couldn't keep his car at the front of the field, but still joined his teammate in the top 10, and Anthony Griffith finished 10th, the highest of the cars that were involved in one of the early incidents. Harry Asinola in the third Pearson Sweeney car, after failing to qualify at Delaware, was the last car on the lead lap. Sergei Yakovsky matches his best finish of the year, while Rus Autosport teammate Ruslan Bashimov takes a second 19th place finish in a row. Rus Autosport has certainly been struggling this year after finishing second with Lev Azarov in the standings the year before. In fact, the team's best finish of the year was owner Vitaly Solikov's 5th place at Fort Worth. Mike Malone continues to struggle in the Lou Singer car, but perhaps juggling full-time efforts in the Super Series and the Lowe Dollar Series is a factor. Aaron Coulter got going again to finish 4 laps down, and Mark Thompson only picked up one more spot, and that was after Alexa Lake dropped out. A promising qualifying effort for Eric Cardona quickly turned into a blown engine, and Michaela Perry-Jones and Archer Helms rounded out the field as the first cars to drop out. Mark Thompson hangs on to the points lead, but Chuck Johnson has closed the gap to 50 points. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson takes third from Anthony Griffith, taking a massive bite out of his own gap to Thompson. Daniel Lecklider moves into the top 5 with the momentum that he's enjoyed lately, and it helps that he has only one DNF compared to everybody else in the top 15 who have 2 or more each. And Carl Hampton jumps to 9th with his victory. Most of these drivers have now run 10 races, and after the next FARC Lowe Dollar Series race, the FARC Provo 120K at Utah's Provo Motorsports Park, the new best of 10 rule will kick in, where only a driver's best 10 scores will count towards the championship, plus whatever they score in the Smash Beer Oktoberfest Nationals. Their worst results will start being wiped after the next race, so it will be interesting to see what this does to the championship picture, and you'll be able to catch all the highlights of the next race right here on the FARC Racing Network.